In your dreams, no one can hear you scream. Welcome to Happy Suffer. Sounds familiar.
Mm.
I did not care for this movie.
It was
I
okay.
mean, I liked some of
Let's
the
not tell anyone
ideas.
what it is, also.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
just...
no. Yeah, definitely not. You have to Google the catchphrase to get the title. I I liked so we're doing 1989's Nightwish. I'm not really sure why it's called Nightwish.
Yeah, but what episode
Really?
is it?
It is episode
494.
Very close. 266.
26. Oh, I was gonna say 265. Damn.
Well, yeah, because
so
that
close.
episode hasn't come out yet.
I've had this movie on my wish list, on my like to watch list forever.
Your
Because-
night wish list.
My night wish list, yeah, because it is on Tubi. It's been on Tubi. The cover is like somebody in like a submersion tank with like those little things on your head that monitor your brain, you know. But then like a night, the cover to me is very cool, and the premise of it sounded really wacky. But I was just like, I don't know, 1989. It could go really either way, and it went a third way, which is that like. So either way is like it kicks ass or it sucks. And this was like in the middle where I liked some of the ideas behind it, and I thought like the special like the effects that they did in that one cave scene were like really good, but the movie itself was just like really boring and didn't really make a lot of sense. So just like the execution wasn't there for me. But I don't know, it was like okay. It was fine.
I like it just took like the last 20 minutes or so are very cool.
Yeah.
But then it's like
Very
it's just
gooey.
so much just shit before you get to that where I was just like, I don't give a fuck about any of these characters.
And like stuff that really makes doesn't have anything to do with the plot. So
What this movie needed was way more of the guy that played Shao Kahn.
I disagree. This movie needed Chris Pontius to be in it.
It could be both.
Yeah. He has to fight
I
Shao
think-
Kahn.
I think this might be the first time all of us gave this movie 2 stars. This might be the first time ever that we've like given
That's not
a
true.
movie
We've
the same rating.
We've had a handful of half stars that we've all been like Bass
Maybe.
Bible Bigfoot half star.
Well, so what were Slug Girl 1 and 2? What were the Slug Girls?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Great question.
Like in the letterbox like cast, it's Slug Girl number 1 and Slug Girl number 2, but I don't remember any Slug Girls.
I mean, maybe that's just like what they called the fucking weird people on the walls. I don't remember. I want to I want to be credited as title sequence model. I don't remember the title sequence to this at all.
I do, but it was just like slow-mo, and it was like it was just like lady body parts. It was like her hair sometimes,
Weird.
and her leg. Yeah,
Don't remember any of that.
get it, Joanne House.
This
Anyway.
this is like a movie that like until they get to the house and like weird shit happens, I was like, fuck this. I don't care about anything happening. There's a dude running animals over because the highway's his.
I hated that guy so much. I was like, please go away.
until
That's
this
Shao Kahn.
this weird. That's
Hate
why
him.
that guy looks so familiar. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I know this guy from somewhere, but I was just like, I'm not looking this up. like And I like for like once he has them like this doctor dude has them like handcuffed and shit, and he's like cuts off the dude's finger. Like I was like, okay, this got my interest, and then it turned into just like generic how do we escape this house bullshit for like 20 minutes. But then once she makes it into like the shit under the house, then I was in. But by then I was like, it's already been an hour. I don't fucking like I don't care.
Yeah, and also I'm like really confused by what was happening because like we'll get into it with the plot obviously, but in the like description it says investigate paranormal activity and must battle ghosts, aliens, and satanic entities, and like that's not really what happened. They just were using different words for the same thing that was like I don't know. I just was like, what is it? Was I don't know. It was just a little convoluted.
The movie needed way more satanic stuff, but I did get weird green cum alien vision, so
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
it just was like
pretty nice.
A kaleidoscope for some reason.
It was like a green kaleidoscope. I was like into that. I didn't understand like what a weird choice of like monster too. Just like squiggly green guy. You know.
Well, I guess K&B did the effects on this. That checks out. The special effects, once it turns into like goopy shit towards the end, are pretty great.
Yeah, and especially because the first thing that you see is green glowing worm thing, and I was like, oh man, but so I was like surprised by how good the like goopy human section was of it, and I was like, all right, I'm into it.
It was also one of those things that like I felt like the end of the twist ending was like unearned.
Dumb. It was. It didn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, of course it was a dream with all of these people you've never met. Very M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, I don't know.
The end. Goodbye.
See ya.
7-minute
5-minute episode today.
Yeah. We can get into it if you want, because
yeah, I feel like there's not a lot to say about this.
Yeah, we gotta get to talking about Saw 10 trailer.
All right, let's zoom through this for Saw. It's been so long since I watched like a Saw or whatever that I saw like the title and it was like Jigsaw and Amanda Return, and I was like, who? And I was like, oh, okay.
Then we'll talk about it in the news.
Okay. Okay, so this movie starts with there's like a large white house and a woman who we find out is named Donna comes out of the house. There's a shoe in the yard and she's like, weird. She walks a little further and then there's a bloody shirt and she's like, huh. Then she walks a little further and there is a severed hand that's moving for some reason. Lots of moving severed body parts in this movie.
The finger, when it gets cut off and it's still moving on the ground, I was like, come on.
Yeah. And, I don't know, she doesn't really super seem that concerned by a severed hand on the ground. But then she turns around and there is a man who is eating another man. He's a cannibal. We know that because the subtitle says cannibal growls. So, in case you were wondering, he's not just like a normal dude. He's a cannibal. And
you got very specific growls.
Yeah,
with
right.
cannibals.
Exactly. That's how you know if it's a cannibal or just like a regular guy who's experimenting a little bit, you know? So, he begins to chase her. It's a pretty slow chase. They're kind of like fast walk chasing, you know? And she just like ducks behind a ledge and the cannibal guy literally like walks right by and she's just like right behind him, and I was like, that's not a very good hiding spot. She throws one of her shoes to like distract him from the noise, but when she turns the corner, the cannibal guy is right there behind her somehow. She stabs him with the shoe, I guess, I don't know, and then she's trying to like run up into this trailer where there's like a bunch of people inside like looking out, and the cannibal comes up and like chokes her out, and there's just people like watching, and I was like, Then she wakes up because it's just a dream, and she is inside a tank of water. She's doing Nightwish, where she's in a tank of water with like the brain wave things on her. And
Seems like a bad
essentially,
wish.
so this is what I'm confused about, because basically there's like a whole group of like students. They are students and they're at school. And the professor is just like, wow, Donna, you did such a good job. So basically what they're trying to do is like lead their own dreams. It is like a self-led dream. And it's revealed that one of Donna's phobias is cannibals. And I was like, seems like a weird phobia, because like, are you running into cannibals in the street? Like, I mean, I guess you could be. I don't know. Seems weird. Like the other girl's, one of her phobias is parasites, which to me is very
Much
fair.
more. Yeah, makes more sense. Like if you're swimming in lakes and stuff, you get those brain parasites and die.
The pea worm, you know, but like a cannibal? I don't know.
Yeah, they were kind of running rampant in 1988.
They must have. just like the quicksand was everywhere.
Yeah.
We pretty much gotten rid of quicksand and cannibals, so. So that's what their experiment is, self-led dreams. But the thing, so like they're training to do this. And the thing that the professor is trying to get them to do is experience their own death. Which to me is really interesting because like the ideas behind this movie to me is like based in like actual theories. Because there's like that whole thing where like you don't actually die in dreams, and if you do, you like die in real life. That's like an urban legend, right? But like,
Well, it's
I don't
called
know.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well,
Which
outside of movies, right? Outside of the documentary Nightmare on Elm Street. So he's basically just like, you did a really good job, but like none of you are able to project and see your own death. Like you guys keep waking up, and he's like, what happened? And they're basically like talking about the meaning behind the dream, which again, I said she says she's afraid of cannibals, which doesn't come back in any way, which I feel like is kind of a miss. And she basically just says that like she lost control of the dream because towards the end, when the cannibal was strangling her, she just got too scared and lost control of guiding the dream, right? And the professor's just like, you guys just need to learn to accept death. And I was like, what in the fuck class is this?
Death
Very
class.
weird. I legit took a class that was called Death and Dying, but it wasn't really, because it was like a psychology class, so it wasn't really actually about like facing your own death or whatever, but I don't know.
Sad.
What the fuck does that say? Okay. So we've got Donna. There is, she's one of the main characters. We have another main character whose name is Kim. It's weird to me that Kim becomes the main character because Donna is like the focus in the beginning and throughout the beginning part of the movie. So she's like, when did this become like the Kim show? But whatever. Then we also have Jack, who, what an interesting guy. He makes a lot of interesting faces. And, so Donna, Kim, and Jack are being driven out into the desert by this fucking psycho douchebag named Dean, who, like, literally swerves in the road to hit a rabbit, which made me extremely upset. Because I watched this at, like, 8 in the morning, and I was like, don't do that to me. That was just terrible. And they show it. Well, they don't show him, they show the aftermath. So he's driving them out in the desert because this is why I'm confused. Because he says that the reason that they're going out to check out this like site is because of UFO sightings. Okay, I'm there, I guess.
Don't remember that.
Am I? Yeah, like specifically UFO sightings, because then they're like talking about it, and I was like, what does this have to do with the night wishing? Okay, here we are.
Maybe the genies that grant your night wishes are aliens.
Yeah, could be. Well, and that's why okay. I don't need to get into that right now. So there's like this pit stop where Donna and Jack are talking about UFO sightings in the area, and they get like a flat tire or whatever. And Kim is talking about how the guy who owned the cabin like built the cabin on a fault line or something, and then there was an earthquake and it killed one of the kids, and he like made his family be out there, and I don't know, like all this like background that I was just like, what is even happening here? Why are we talking about this? But they get to the cabin and the gate is not open. There's this whole long fucking drawn out thing about how they're like filming it as if somebody is lurking around watching them while they have to like break into the shed and steal keys to open the gate, which literally pans out to nothing because then the gate guy's there when Dean leaves. So I was just like, what is the point of this? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like this movie feels like somebody who's like, I know this is like before M. Night Shyamalan, but it feels very much like somebody was just like, what if we put a bunch of like fake outs and twists in this movie? It'll make people think it's smart, and it like,
right.
I just feel like it is very, very. This movie should have been a Christopher Nolan
Criterion
movie.
film. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so they get the key, they drive up. Then there's, okay, so when they get there, Bill, who is one of the other lab assistants, is already there, and he basically is like, oh yeah, well, that's weird. Somebody met us at the gate. I don't know where they are. That's so weird. And they just like keep perpetuating this idea that like somebody's missing or whatever. Then there's this whole fucking scene with Dean, who is going to go drive off and go work somewhere else and then come back at night to pick them up. He stops at the gate and he meets like the gate guard, and he has this like whole conversation with the gate guard, and I was just like, why is this happening? And also, all of this side shit really makes no sense once they reveal the ending, which is part of like what makes me so mad about it. Anyway. Yeah, so Dean drives up, the gate is now locked, which should be impossible, right? And so instead of being like concerned about it, he just gets out to pee on the gate. Yeah. Okay.
How do you think you open the gate?
Open sesame. I get it.
Got it.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Somebody sneaks up behind him and scares him. It's the gate guard. They have this whole fucking back and forth or whatever. Inside the house, they and like the professor's in the house too, right? Bill is the professor's assistant. They meet him there, and in the house, they're going to go around and get like magnetic, I assume magnetic readings of the house, which is like, okay, whatever. And then they hear banging, and then it turns out to be, they're like, oh my god, what is that? And it turns out to just be the professor, who tells them that there's hidden passages in the walls all over the place. Okay. They sit in a circle to do a seance, because the house is said to be demonic. What?
Mm-hmm. Checks out.
I'm wondering if they were trying to make this like roundabouts, like a Skinwalker Ranch situation where people are like, there's aliens, there's cattle mutilation, but also maybe there's like demonic entities in the like maybe that's the situation here.
I think somebody had the idea for like 4 different movies, but the budget to only make one, and so they just crammed all of it into one.
And like, it may let me get to the point where it's just like, okay.
You know what would have been the scariest to have there?
What?
Libertarians. Aliens and Satanists and libertarians.
Just walking around yelling about age of consent.
Yep, here we are.
Taxation is theft.
Meat is murder. That's different, but yeah.
So I'm surprised somebody should just make that movie where like they're in a cabin, and all of a sudden a bunch of libertarians show up and are just outside screaming bullshit at them.
Yeah.
I would love that.
It's just like, it'll be like Tyler and Dale versus Evil, or fucking whatever that movie's called, where like the libertarians all just like stumble themselves into getting killed off.
That'd be fantastic. Make it.
There you go.
Trademark.
Charles Band, what are you doing?
Another COVID movie, I assume.
Yeah, just another dubbed movie.
That's enough. No more COVID stuff. Can we just...
Nope, that's what Saw X is about. COVID.
Yeah, it takes place between 1 and 2, but somehow it's all about COVID.
You didn't
Love
realize
it.
1 and 2 were set in the future
Yeah,
when they
That's
came
that
out.
right.
would be an incredible reveal.
20 years in the future or whatever. I honestly, that would be so brave of them. I'd be behind it.
That'd be incredible. Be like, well, I guess they're not wrong. They could do that.
That's
I mean,
that's a real fucking like Jason Goes to Hell swing of like
Yeah. Fuck it.
my favorite thing about them doing it now is that it would be like Better Call Saul, where they had like Aaron Paul and what's his face, but like old, but playing the same ages.
Oh no, there's one of the Saw movies has a flashback that's Jigsaw going to like I don't know an insurance company or whatever, I forget what it is. And it's supposed to be like 15 years in the past. I think it's like Saw 6 that they do this.
Yeah.
And to make him look young, they just put a backwards baseball cap on him, but he looks old as fuck
Oh,
still.
I remember that.
And
That was a meme at the time. I remember
I'm
that.
so
That's
disappointed
hilarious.
the
I love
entire
it.
trailer did not have him in a backwards baseball cap to show that it's
Seriously.
the past.
It's
How do
just
you
like
do,
that
fellow cancer patients?
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Okay, what? They're doing a seance
I guess. I don't know
to
what the fuck.
summon Jigsaw back from the dead.
This is a prequel.
Now that's a Saw
It is.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. So they're sitting in this circle to do a seance, right? Because the house is said to be a demonic. And the girl, Donna's like, don't we need a medium to be doing a seance? Like, none of us are experienced. And the professor's just like, no, actually, the activity here is cyclical, so all we have to do is just concentrate. And, like, essentially what he's saying is that it's like a haunting where they're not intelligent, so they're just like doing the same thing over and over again. And that's, again, a theory. Like, whether or not you believe in like the paranormal or any of that stuff, that's like an actual theory that there's like intelligent and then there's ones that are just basically like are real over and over again. So they're just like, okay, let's just concentrate. So they're just like sitting there in their little circle, just like whatever. And immediately their equipment starts going off. There is a green light coming from the fireplace, and the doors are banging open and shut and stuff. Something is taking a bunch of pictures of them with the Polaroids, like, and then a green ooze that is in the shape of, I said it was a tentacle. Nathan is saying it's a sperm.
Because at some point they talk about it wanting to breed.
Yeah. It comes down the chimney, like, and it's like looking at them and just like checking it out or whatever. And everybody's like a little freaked out. Kim seems very into the tentacle guy. She's just like looking at him with like such wonder. And Donna is like, oh my God, get away from her. And they're like, no. The professor's like, just sit there, just calm down, it'll be fine. And so Donna picks up her bag, her purse, and starts like hitting the tentacle guy with her bag, and it just kind of like dissipates or whatever. And Bill, who, as I said, is the professor's assistant, is just like, well, oh, that was surprising. And like essentially what they reveal is that everything that was set up was just an experiment to see how they would respond to being scared by the ghost, quote unquote, ghost activity. But what they didn't fake was the green sperm guy coming down the chimney. That was something that they did not make up. So,
Yeah.
So, like, the ghost activity itself, I guess, is fake, which is why it says, like, battling ghosts and aliens and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, what?
Yeah,
Okay.
like, all of the explanations are, like, fake, for the fake outs and shit, or whatever, that they'd keep doing. I was just like, I don't care
It
about
doesn't
this.
make a lot of sense, right? So then Bill, so they're basically just like, well, we just, like, made all of this up because we wanted to see if you have what it takes to do what? I don't even know. I don't even know. Okay. Yeah, so what they're calling ectoplasm, which was the entity, wasn't faked by them, but they also don't have any evidence that it was real. Like, there's no ectoplasm left on the purse, there's nothing on the floor, so they're just like, well, we can't prove that it was real, but we also didn't fake it. So, great. No one seems to be like concerned about it at all. Again, and then they look at the Polaroids that were being taken of all their faces, and the Polaroids are all fucking weird too. And they're just kind of like, well, weird. This is when the professor is telling them that the demonic entity in the house has the power to project hallucinations and instill paranoia in them. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good. Donna is basically just like, this was real, and that's when they're kind of saying, like, we don't really have any proof. Like, they're kind of calling her crazy, even though everybody fucking saw it. And the doctor's just like, listen, we're going to do groundbreaking research here. I still don't understand what the point of his research is, first of all. And he's like, we have to be perfect. Research has to be impeccable, no mistakes. You got it? And they're just like, we're like 22, but sure, let's do it. And then they go around and do what he says is degaussing the house, which again I think just means taking like EMF stuff, which is like the electromagnetic fields around the house.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You could explain what was happening in this with all your Zach Baggins knowledge.
Yeah, I mean they don't use the word. They don't use that word, but what they were doing was going around with the devices to like measure it. So I'm assuming that that's what they were doing.
Not a single person tried to fucking fight a ghost with his belt. I was very upset.
Sad.
No, terrible.
Or find like a penis pump.
No, they didn't even try. They didn't look in any drawers at all. Then, okay, so they split up, right? Donna and Jack are exploring up in the attic, and they're taking the readings, which, again, I'm not really sure why they're doing this, because they don't conduct any experiments in which they use the readouts that they're getting. So again, don't know what's going on here. They're really bad at research, I think, is what I'm surmising.
Same.
Yeah.
So they go up to the attic, and Donna is like, what's that noise? And they turn around and immediately see a little ghost child who's wearing suspenders, and he's crying, and he's like, Daddy, please let me out. I see. Extra. He kind of does look like a little newsy. He's like old-timey, right? And then they see basically the accident that killed him, which is when there was an earthquake and some beams fell and crashed down and crushed him, and then there's blood, and then his body disappears. And again, like, they're just kind of like, let's get out of here. Like, you literally saw a ghost child manifest in front of you, and you just don't seem to care. They tell the professor, and the professor literally says that he's not interested in ghost children. He wants the entity. All right.
I guess not to get ahead, was there ever, like, an explanation? Like, I know the entire thing's a fucking Nightwish. But, like, is there ever an explanation as to, like, why this dude wants this entity or whatever?
No.
Okay, that's what I like. By the time again, I watched this at work last night, and by the time I got to the end, I was like, I feel like there was no explanation as to like what was going on other than that it was a dream or whatever.
No, there's not, and that's why I'm like, but like you can't. That's the thing that really bothers me about this, because it's like, no, there's no explanation for like what's happening. Like, I don't know, Kit, correct me if you feel like you gleaned something that both of us missed. Like, this whole backstory behind the dream makes no sense, except for the fact that they're like, oh, it was a dream. So, like, are you saying it was a dream?
That was literally it, as far as I could tell. It's like,
was a dream.
Nope, just a dream.
So it doesn't have to make sense? ? I don't know. That's the part of it that I'm just like, what? I can't figure it out.
I think they wrote themselves into a corner and were like, wait, guys, none of this makes sense. And they're like, well, if we just say it was all a dream, it doesn't have to make sense.
Well, which I'm fine with, and but I feel like there should have been like at least one throwaway line as to like what this dude wanted, because like I'm like, we've talked about it on here before with like the void and shit like that, where I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm down. I don't need a fucking explanation.
Well,
and like,
right.
This movie felt like someone had the idea of like, I want to make this like weird movie, and like the twist. You find out when you get to the end, the twist is that like she's in a dream, and then also in a dream, I guess. Like, I don't know if she's like trapped in her fucking dreams now, whatever the fuck it was, but like. It felt like then they just had the excuse to just do whatever they wanted without having to explain any of it. And it just felt kind of lazy. But I was like, I also, like, by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, I'm just going to ask in the episode because I don't know if I missed something.
And, like, to your point, yeah, like, there's two types of I don't understand what's going on. And it's, like, something that is, like, a movie... For lack of a better term, I'm going to say high concept. Like, I feel like something like The Void is a high concept where either you don't know what's going on because they don't explain it because it's kind of like up to you to decide what you think is happening. And if you don't have an idea, then like, whatever, it's fine. And then there's this where it's like just it's just poorly written. And then just by saying like, oh, it was a dream. But like, why? It makes no sense because it's not like if you're going to say it was a dream, it needed to be way weirder. Like, a dream actually is. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't... It's just like, they didn't...
Well, it wasn't a dream, it was a Nightwish.
Okay, a Nightwish is nothing. And, like, okay, and the thing that made me mad about it, too, is, like, as I'm watching this movie, I was like, I watched it for the Nightwishing, and I was like, I would have liked more. And then it's like, oh, the whole thing was... No, that wasn't good enough. It needed to be, like, maybe, like, a Flatliners type situation for me where they're, like, going into multiple Nightwishes or something. And then maybe somebody can't get out of their Nightwish at the end. But, like, having this whole fucking long sequence... And, like, why is this girl... Why... Like, I don't know. It's stupid.
It sucks because, like, I really, like... This is one of those movies that I'd be interested to, like... read or like hear a commentary track or like whatever from somebody that's like smarter than me. But it's like everything, like, it's so fucking impossible to look up stuff about this movie because of the band.
Yeah.
Did the band take their name from this movie?
Definitely.
I wonder.
I don't know.
That'd be incredible.
I've never listened to the band, so I don't know.
I never will.
They formed because they are
96. I just googled it
because
I was going to ask that question.
All of the lyrics are about this movie, guaranteed.
That'd be incredible.
I know it.
The last line in every song is, "It was a dream.
It was just a Nightwish, like the thing on our band name." Okay. Whew. He wants the entity. The professor wants that enemy. He's just trying to get it on with an entity. He's real interested.
Same.
Apparently, the name was they took from the first song they wrote was called Nightwish.
Yeah, based off of the movie from 1989 called Nightwish.
I was trying to find lyrics, but
it's just them singing the script.
Wendell
feeds the animals. Okay.
Poor Wendell.
So, I know what, and also you meet the character that Wendell. It was like a fucking Wizard of Oz thing where when she quote unquote wakes up, you like meet everybody that was in the dream, and Wendell is just like a janitor, maybe.
It says a lot about this main character that we're following.
That's what I'm saying.
The two janitors in her dream are like mentally challenged.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on with that?
Not great.
No, bitch.
Flake's
Okay.
canceled. Kim's canceled.
Listen, she doesn't make a lot of... Alicia Doss.
These band members at Nightwish have too many vowels in their names.
They're
from Finland.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say Norway or something, but... Okay, Professor wants that entity D. So then the professor, they go to the basement maybe, and there's like all these exposed beams, and the professor handcuffs the kids between all of the beams so that their arms are out at the beams, right? And then he does a ritual. I also don't understand why, like, they're still going along with this fucking dude when he's, like, very obviously, like, something's wrong with him, but it's fine. He does a ritual, which is essentially that he draws a pentagram on the floor and then puts a candle in the middle. And basically what they're going to try and do is pull the entity into their dimension. Okay. And then the professor's just like, they're like, oh, is this just another, like, trick? Like, are you just training us? And he's like, no, training time's over. The candle flame starts flickering and then shoots out, like huge. Then some poltergeist stuff starts happening. And the candle disappears for some reason. The pentagram starts glowing green. There's a lot of green. And then there is a green tornado type thing that starts happening. And
that was a sound effect taken straight from the movie.
Yeah, it was. I have a soundboard of the sound effects here, so.
I wish. I fucking wish you had like a radio DJ fucking soundboard.
Don't tempt me. I will do it.
One way we could make this show even more unlistenable.
It's like, listen, these people don't even talk about the movie. They go off on tangents about bang buses. There's fucking sound effects. I don't know what's happening here.
It's just like every 5 minutes it's just that like, oh yeah, bass drop fucking thing.
Okay. What's going on? Oh,
somebody give us a soundboard.
Literally, please send it to me.
All three of us need one while recording.
Terrible. This is the worst idea, and I love it.
I wanted so badly just to do one episode where like neither of us say what we're doing. It's just periodically we're just hitting weird fucking sound effects while we're talking.
We'll do that. Kit will lead the episode, and we'll just see what happens. It will be our skyrocket to fame. Okay.
The winning formula.
Yes. Jack is like, and then he passes out. He literally faints. And the entity, I don't know. For some reason, they feel like the entity is actually coming, like breaking through dimensions. And the professor's like, come on through. Come on, man. Let's go, girls. And Bill is like, no, don't come out. Don't come here. And Bill is so scared that he pees his pants. Listen, okay.
They do such a slow pan down to like his crotch area too.
I was so scared. I was like, what are they showing us? Is he like, I don't want to know. Oh yeah. And so he's basically just like, don't come out here. You don't belong here. Like, don't do this. And then the entity stops coming out of the portal, I guess. I don't know. We don't ever see... All we see is, like, the green tentacle thing, like, 3 times. We don't see, like, an actual entity or body of any sort, so I don't know. I just wrote Professor slaps. I'm assuming he slaps Bill. I don't know.
I don't remember if I think so, maybe. I don't remember.
Bill is like, you can't keep doing this. You're gonna get fired a 3rd time. And basically he reveals that this is the 3rd university that the professor has worked for because he has been, like, doing these experiments and people have died previously. And he's like, and Bill is like, wait till I tell everybody about this fiasco. And I was like, what fiasco are you talking about? Literally nothing happened except you peed your pants. Like, what? I don't know. So he's, like, threatening him. And Kim is basically just like, listen, guys, like, let's all calm down. It's just the paranoia from the entity. He's, like, getting to us. And we're being scared, right? I was like, LOL, okay. Jack wakes up. Oh, maybe he slaps Jack to wake him up from fainting. Jack wants to leave. He's like, I want to go home now. Like, uncuff us. And, like, rule number 1, don't let your professor handcuff you to anything. Seems like just such the worst idea. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, good advice for anybody.
If your professor has handcuffs, run.
Yeah, I don't drop that. Don't go near him. I'm just saying. And yeah, he's like, we want to leave, like, let us go now. And the professor's like, you're not going. And then they wrestle. Just kidding. Okay. This is when another guy shows up, Stanley, and they reveal that the summoning of the entity that they just did was also a trick. And Stanley, like, what the fuck is happening? How many times are you gonna goof these kids? Like, he basically reveals that Stanley is the one that's been, like, behind the scenes, like, helping him with the special effects to, like, trick them into thinking that they're being, like, haunted or whatever. And Bill is essentially just like, what? I'm outraged. I resign. I'm resigning right now. And then the professor walks up and stabs him and says, resignation accepted.
Got him.
And then Stanley is, the professor is just like, okay, I'm going to go do some stuff again. Stanley, get rid of that body. So Stanley takes Bill's body out. Donna says that they need to pretend to keep going along with what the professor wants so that they can escape. And meanwhile, Dean is driving his van and laughing hysterically to what they subtitled as quote-unquote jungle music. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't...
Why?
Yeah. Very weird.
It's so good.
Like, it's like a long shot of him just being like, ah, and then it's like drums, and I was just like, what the fuck, man? Okay, so then Stanley comes back, and after disposing of Bill's body in something that looks green, Stanley is going to, like, handcuff them, but first he's going to take a souvenir, which is that he cuts off Jack's finger with some pliers, and before he does it, Donna is just like, Stanley, some things are against the law, and if you do that, I'm going to call the police, and they're going to be mad at you. And I was like, girl. So Stanley cuts off Jack's finger, and Donna throws up immediately in response to this. And Stanley is just like, oh, you made a mess, and that's not good. Like, you made a mistake, and now I'm going to have to punish you. I don't even want to know what the fuck he was going to do to her.
I'm very confused as to what this punishment is, because he belts her legs to the poles, and then he goes and gets like a vacuum or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just that like she can't move her legs, or if there was going to be more to it.
I don't know, and I don't want to know, because thankfully the professor comes back and it's just like, all right, and okay. And the thing that actually legit made me laugh about this scene is that the professor walks in, sees Jack's bloody hand where his finger's missing, sees that Donna has vomited on the floor, and then looks and sees that the like his trunk is open, and it's just like, what's going on with the trunk?
Well, he's got priorities.
And Stanley's what?
He's got his priorities to check, like.
Right. And Stanley's just like, the snake. Like, there was like a snake in the trunk for some reason. And then Stanley says that he, like, killed it, but, like, they didn't show that, so I don't even fucking know. But then he's just like, I need my colleagues to help me. So he unties them, right? They're gonna go around and take readings of the house again for whatever fucking reason, because every fucking thing that they do is just a trick to see if they're scared. So the professor takes Donna and Jack with him, and meanwhile, Kim has to go with Stanley. So, also there's like this whole thing where Kim like steals some keys that fell on the ground. Oh, I think it's to the gate, but then she never ends up using them, so I don't really know what the point of that was.
Oh yeah, I forgot that there's like that entire the whole point of this scene is like her trying to like get these keys while they distract Stanley, and then there's nothing that comes from it.
There's literally. So, Kim, they're basically going around the house taking like the EMF or whatever, and Kim like messes with the machine somehow, and it's just like, Stanley, can you fix this machine? And he's like, well, the professor doesn't let me fix stuff because I'm stupid, he says.
I'm a dumb
or something.
janitor.
Like, literally. And so she's just like, I don't know, I feel like you could probably fix it. So he takes the machine from her, is just, like, staring at it as she literally just, like, walks out the door. And I was like, smooth. He notices, and so he runs out.
I also like that, like, the way they show that he's working on it is he just holds it up to his eye the entire time.
Like, really close, just, like, staring at it. And he runs out after her. She has crouched down on the top of the stairs so that when he runs, he just, like, trips over her and falls down the stairs.
Smart.
Pretty smart. Except for, you know, that old trope where if you try and walk by somebody who has fallen or something, they're going to grab you. But she just hits him with something and,
how
like,
do you
runs
not
or
get,
whatever.
like 3 steps from the bottom and just, like, do a fucking...
Jump over the railing?
Finn Balor double foot stomp right on his fucking head to get out of here.
Or something. There's no way that in this situation, if I was in this situation, I would, like, gingerly try and step
slowly
next to
walk
them.
past
like,
him instead
what?
of jumping past him and running.
Or, like, jumping over the railing or, like, anything. Another scene that makes no fucking sense. Upstairs, where Donna, Jack, and the professor are, like, taking readings, Donna is, like, standing in front of this closet, and Jack grabs her and then slowly backs her into a box, a plastic box, like, her head goes into the plastic box, and then he puts the front of the box on, and there's tarantulas in it, and she's just, like, screaming. And then it didn't really happen, though, because she's just, like, in the closet by herself screaming. There's no spiders or anything. And then Jack and the professor are like, what happened? And she's like, why did you do that to me? I can't believe you did that. I was calling for you. And they were just like, what do you think happened? And then the scene just cuts back to Kim. And that's, like, the last time you see them until the end. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Who? Why?
It's good writing.
Yeah. Great. Kim finds a phone and tries to call the gate guy, but the conversation just, like, doesn't really go anywhere. And so eventually Stanley grabs her again and she beats him with the phone and then runs outside.
That's my favorite sequence in the whole movie. It's her just wailing on him with his fucking phone and
Looks
him
pretty
not
good.
moving.
He just, not even a flinch. For some reason, there is a demon dog outside, and by demon dog, I mean a German Shepherd that they like, shine green light on, and the dog barks and then chases her. And then she goes, like, underground into, like, a cave, and all of a sudden Bill is there, and he's like, hello, I want to show you something. And I was like, wow, that's not sus at all. Bill, if you'll remember, is the guy that resigned and got stabbed earlier. So the fact that he's showing up in any way, it's probably not great. And Kim is just like, oh my god, was that another was that another test? And then she's like, oh man, I, like, really beat that guy in the face with a phone, though. Oops. Then, like, again, no idea where this came from, but she is essentially, they're, like, talking about what they think is actually going on here, and Bill is just like, I don't know. I think that the professor's real job isn't just to, like, do these experiments. It's that his real job is to dissect humans and, like, watch and dissect them. And she's like, yeah, because he's an alien. And I was like, what? How did we get here?
Incredible conclusion to reach.
And he's like, I don't know about that. And she's like, oh my god, I'm freaking telling you, I have an intuition. He's an alien. He's been sent here to dissect us. And I was like, okay, sure.
Can't argue with that.
I mean, ooh. Thunderstorms. Then he's like, he brings her back into this cavern. This is the scene that is legit very cool. And essentially Bill is just like, oh, he's not only here to, like, watch and dissect, he's here for breeding. And they show, like,
Ew.
all of these people plastered onto the walls of this cavern, kind of like we've seen this in things before, right? But they're kind of like melty and like ooey gooey, and like one of the guys has like an alien baby growing out of the side of his face, and I was like, this rocks. Like this needs to be more of the movie.
Yeah,
like,
this is where it finally gets like interesting.
So basically, the people are like plastered to the walls because they're incubating alien babies. Great, I love that. But also, I don't understand what the entity thing is. So, like, I don't know. Are they trying to say that, like, the professor is luring people there to use their bodies and, like, their experiments don't actually have anything to do with, like, it's just, like, he's an alien and the pretext to getting people there is to, like, I don't know. That's the only thing I could, like, grasp
I don't
at.
think they thought anything past.
I don't think they did either.
Like, a weird design and they're here for breeding or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody had the idea for like the fucking alien baby cocoon people, and we're just like, let's just make a movie around it. And so basically Bill is just like, yeah, this is what's going on, and there's room for you. And then she's like, ah! And then I wrote, his arm falls off? Question mark. Somebody's arm fell off. I don't really know what happened. Then she hits him in the head with something, and when he falls on the ground, his head busts open and like pulsates because there's bugs in there.
Just like
very
mine.
Cool. Looks so cool. Yeah, which makes sense because like we said, she's afraid of like parasites and bugs. So like, yeah, that's gross. That's gross. I love it. Also, Stanley is alive. Super. Let's see. Then all of a sudden, Kim is laying down in a foggy cave, rolling around and like feeling herself and stuff. And I was like, huh?
Yeah, just like all
like, and she's like, I'm sorry, she does say, I'm sorry, Professor, I lost control of my dream. And I was like, what's going on? Because then she sees Donna standing there in like a see-through, like, I don't even know what her shirt is. It's just like a see-through shirt thingy. And she says something like, Kim, you aren't into those slimy things, are you? Or something like that. Like, she's starting to have, like, she's legit starting to have, like, a sex dream about the squiggly alien thing, I think is what happened.
Fair.
And then she wakes up and she's like, oh, no, like, I'm not into that. Donna kink shames her into waking up from her dream.
Imagine getting kink shamed in your own Nightwish.
That's what I'm saying. What?
Fucked up.
Right? Shit. She's already into the dude who was having fun running over animals. So, like, I don't know. You know, just maybe the alien is, like, better than that guy. But that's just my opinion. She wakes up and is like, oh, no. And, like, runs away for real. So, okay. Finally, Dean shows back up. And the gate guy isn't there. And he's like... He like... jumps the fence and goes into the cabin, opens the gate guy's fridge, and there's just like a severed torso in there. And I was like, what? Why? Then we see... You gotta
keep your severed torso somewhere.
I guess, but I'm just like...
Where do you keep your severed torso at?
Not my house. That's the first place they check.
Richie Rich over here with her own severed torso room.
Right, you know it. Underground severed torso room. Dean finds the gate guy hanging and actually like kind of feels sorry for him. But we can see the back of the gate guy and he is all melty with like alien babies in his rib cage. So he's been aliened. And yeah. And so Dean takes the keys, the gate guard keys from him. So I'm like, how did she have them? I'm so confused. And again, she doesn't use them, so it doesn't fucking matter. But it was just such a weird detail for them to be like showing over and over for it to not mean anything, you know? Yeah. I don't know. Dean gets the keys, drives up the driveway. The demon dog is running around in the street. And I was like, please don't hit the dog. He doesn't, though, thank God. But then something thumps down on his roof and is like thumping, and it's glowing green, and then a tentacle comes in from the hatch.
Hell yeah.
I was like,
I love the fucking really shitty, very early sort of computer effects on this green thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But they just, I don't know. Okay. Okay. What? Okay, so outside, Kim is outside. Donna just, like, shows up and is like, hey, like, nothing's been happening this entire movie. And Donna leads Kim back into the cave, question mark? I don't know. They're back inside somewhere where the walls are glowing green, right? And Jack is also there.
Mm-hmm.
But he hallucinates that Kim and Donna are aliens. Like, they have crazy, weird, like, alien faces.
I don't know if it was something you guys noticed, but, like, there's a point where, is it Jack is having sort of, like, a hallucination or something, or, like, when they first go into, like, the separate rooms when, what's her name, like, tricks Stanley to escape, and they're, like, monitoring and shit, and that, like, the Donna, is that her name?
The blonde girl, yeah.
Like has, like, the weird hallucination about, like, the dude, like, attacking her or whatever, and his cut off finger is on the wrong hand. And, like, and so, like, I thought it was a goof, but they do it a couple times to show that, like, that's when he's hallucinating, because at one point he comes, like, he's, like, thinks he's hallucinating and looks, and it's, like, the right hand, so he knows he's not hallucinating, like, whatever's happening is actually happening. And I thought it was, like, actually a cool little, like, detail that I don't think they really make, like, a big focus of, but I was like, oh, that's interesting, because the first time I was like, why the fuck is this dude's, like, hand the wrong hand? Did they really fuck it up that bad? Because it's, like, it was very noticeable to me, and then, like, I realized that's what, like, they showed that, like, his hallucination ones, like, his cut-off finger was on the wrong hand. But again, just a thing they just, like,
seems like if he was hallucinating, he should, like, still have his finger and not it just being, like, the wrong, I don't know. It was, like, very strange. But yeah, because he, like, looks at them and they're, like, standing there with, like, weird, crazy alien heads, and then he holds up his hand and looks at the finger, and then they're normal. And I was like, huh?
Yeah, that was, like, when I kind of, like, I put together that I think that's what, like, they were going towards.
So then Kim is just like, oh my god, like, thank God you guys are here. And she starts telling them about how the professor's an alien and there's aliens here. She saw Bill. And Donna and Jack, like, don't believe her. Fine. And they're like, oh, Bill's alive? And then she's like, he was. I killed him. I gotta say, she went from being, like, the meek, like side character to just, like, fucking killing anybody she sees, like, first sight. She's killing them. Go, sometimes you gotta, I guess. She's just like, yeah, like, I hit him in the head and, like, he didn't bleed or anything, but his head popped open and there were bugs. Donna was like, okay, well, it's just, like, a hallucination because, like, you're scared of bugs or whatever. But let's prove to you that we're human, and we'll cut ourselves and show you that we're bleeding. And then Jack, like, holds up his, like, severed finger where his hand is still bleeding, and he's like, isn't this good enough? No. Cut your other finger off, coward. Then, like, I'm confused because, like, they don't ever show Jack and Kim escaping from the professor. So I'm like, are they working with him now? I don't really understand, because then the professor shows up and grabs Kim and is, like, pulling her deeper and deeper into the mind. And she's freaking out. She's like, you're an alien. There's aliens. This, that, and the other thing is happening. And the professor is just like, it's just hallucinations. Like, we're getting so close. The entity is just scared of us. And that's why he's, like, doing all of this to us. And I was like, again, what? Is there an entity? Are you an alien? I don't understand. And then they start hallucinating. There's, like, this long scene where they've constructed fake, like, chasms opening up with, like, bugs all over them and, like, green light coming, and they're, like, hallucinating it because they're, like, screaming and shit. And, like, when they show them again, there's, like, no bugs or anything, and so they are just, like, hallucinating, I guess. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, the tentacle entity guy comes back, and he's like, you know, like coming down the mine shaft, and Kim is like, it's not a hallucination, and she climbs up the ladder by herself and then shuts and locks the trapdoor, locking the professor, Jack, and Donna down there. And the entity kind of just like engulfs them, question mark?
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Makes sense.
Kim...
All of it makes sense when you don't think about it.
Yeah. Kim gets a lantern, and she's, like, trying to leave the house, and she starts hearing Dean, and she's like, oh my gosh, Dean. She runs around the corner, but Dean is kind of fucked up. He doesn't have any arms or legs. He doesn't look like
he's having a good time.
He's like, no arms or legs. He's like melty. He's got very obviously alien babies growing in his chest. And she's just like, oh no, Dean. And she pretends like she's going to hug him, and she just stabs him in the ear.
Which doesn't seem to do a whole lot.
No. Then the trapdoor to the basement flies open, and there's like green light coming everywhere. Kim runs outside and gets in Dean's van and is driving away as the creature's tentacles start like tentacling around her leg and then around her neck, and then she starts screaming, and the image of her screaming turns into a computer monitor. And she's actually back in the lab. She has been Nightwishing this whole time, and she gets out of the tank, and everybody is like, wow, oh my god, good job. Like, you did such a good job. There was dreams within a dream. And I'm like, but to go further, the thing that doesn't make sense to me as to how this is a dream is that we see things happen outside of her. Like,
yeah, it
like
doesn't
all
make
of
any
the stuff
sense.
with Dean, the stuff with Donna hallucinating, the stuff with Jack hallucinating, like, those people cannot be doing things separately if she's dreaming, even if it's self-guided. Like, you are always present. Do you know what I mean? Like, it makes no fucking sense. And Kim is just like, she's like fucked up by how she herself perceived people in her dream world, right? So she gets out and she's like looking at everybody. She's like looking at the professor, like all sus, and like nobody else did anything to her, which is why I'm like, why are you being so like, I don't know, whatever. And she's basically just like, you know what? I don't need a degree that bad. I'm gonna leave. And this part I liked in theory. She basically like is like, I don't need a degree, I'm leaving. So she goes to walk out and she opens the door, but then it's just like another door, and then she like opens the door again. But every time she opens it, she turns around and she like says something to them, like, yeah, this is messed up, you shouldn't be doing this. And every time she turns back, and it's like as if she doesn't notice that she's already opened the door, but it's a shut door, which I thought was cool. But then the last time she opens it, there is what I think is Donna's body, like, tied to the beam, like, hung up on the beams, and, like, maybe she's dead. So I was like, what? So she walks in, and then Stanley comes up and shuts the door behind her, and you can hear her screaming, like, wake me up, let me out, this is my dream, and then it just fades to black.
So I thought it was I thought it was her body that she walks into, like, tied up.
I'm pretty sure it was blonde, though. She had, like, very brown hair, and it didn't look like her to me. But either way, my question is, what? It made no sense. Well, it made absolutely no sense.
At one point they say that, like, she was having a dream inside a dream.
Right.
And so, like, technically, all of that was also a dream? I like the Wikipedia page for this movie doesn't even have a plot synopsis.
I feel bamboozled. But...
flummoxed.
I do.
I was going to see if it said, like, Wikipedia said what the ending... like, who, like, you know, it was.
Dream interpretation version of it.
Not a fucking.
Because, like I said, I like the idea behind like what they're doing. Again, like I said, it is kind of like Flatliners type situation, right? Which I like. So, but I don't know. It just was like, I'm glad I waited so long to watch it, I guess is what I'm saying, which is not normal.
Should have watched it before we started this podcast, so I didn't have to.
I mean,
rude.
You know, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't know. Like, it's like, I feel like it's a movie that, like, I'm not mad I watched, but I have zero interest in ever watching it again.
Yeah, I mean, same. Yeah. I liked the
like if
alien baby human cocoon situation.
If this movie had come out at any other time, I would have been so mad because all of like the only thing going for it is those like cool like 80s special effects.
Yeah.
And like if this would have been like the exact same movie but like 2002, I would have been like, this is dog shit and unwatchable.
Yeah. Well, I have a really exciting piece of news to tell you.
What is it?
So, back in like 2018, before I joined the podcast, you had reported about how they were making a Soviet sleep experiment movie that Chris Kattan was in.
Yeah.
And then they just like never talked about it again. It's back, baby.
Is it finally coming out?
Supposedly, yeah.
I need it.
They shared a like image from it, and then I guess they're starting to like talk about it again. So I don't really know that. I don't think there's like an actual release date or anything, but I'm just like, yes, bring it.
It's always a good sign when a movie's finished and then it doesn't get released for a bunch of years.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I would like to see that movie. I mean, even when like it was like being talked about when it was being made, I assumed it was going to be bad, so I still assume it's going to be bad, but I want to see it.
I'm so excited. That I think they usually call it Russian sleep experiment, not Soviet, which whatever. Is like one of my favorite weird like
it's such a creepy fucking made up
it
story.
Is one of those like yeah, is it because like some people like legit think it's like real, and it's like the detail behind it is so fucking gross. It's like one of those ones that I think about often.
Me too, as somebody that doesn't sleep.
I mean, yeah. And then Batman: Mask of the Phantasm is coming to 4K. Perfect.
Did you watch the Adult Swim Uzumaki
Magic 8 Ball movie
trailer?
Did I watch what?
The Adult Swim released a trailer for their like Uzumaki adaptation or whatever.
I saw it, but I didn't watch it. I watched they've done like so many little like adaptations of his stuff now. I watched one of them, like the very first anime series that they did for Ito. I watched and I was like, it's fine. So I haven't really been like caught up on all that stuff. But
I'm interested to see what that Adult Swim one will be like. But
the stuff that they're doing, I think that's one of them where it's like black and white.
Yeah.
To me seems a lot more interesting because I just like wasn't totally in love with the art style they went with for the series that I actually did watch. Because like the thing that's creepy to me about his stuff is like the manga, seeing the still images. I feel like it works better than like whatever they did. So that's why I feel like the black and white will be like better. But
the only
I don't know.
Barbie mashup thing I've seen that I thought was funny is someone took that Uzumaki one where it's like the big like spiral eye or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's Barbie with it and it just says, "Do you ever think about dying?"
I love that. I need to see it.
Did either of you watch the Exorcist Believer trailer?
Oh my god.
It looks
it's
like
been in front of every movie I've seen. It looks so stupid.
No, I haven't.
Oh, there's 3 of them coming, so.
Oh my god.
Let's see. The Saw trailer. Surprisingly not the worst, but they pulled that shit where they play like a fun pop song over it, and I was like, come on.
No, we just talked about that. I hate it.
Like, it's gonna be bad, but I'm absolutely gonna watch it. Because I've seen the rest, and they're all relatively bad. But I love them.
Yeah.
So, like...
I mean, same with Exorcist, I think.
I'm
for me, anyway.
Absolutely not watching that.
Are you guys gonna watch Shake and Die? the Magic 8 Ball movie.
Fuck yeah. That.
What could
Whatever.
possibly?
Why not?
I mean, it's just
Killer Sloth.
it's
Slaughter House.
just gonna be like a fucking Ouija board movie, but instead of it's just gonna be the fucking Magic 8 Ball. It's gonna be terrible.
I actually am excited. Okay, I can't wait. PG-13. I'm excited by how fucking stupid that sounds. To be honest with you, like what? Am I gonna die? Ask again later. No, I think I just won't. Ask again later.
It's I don't like Mattel's gonna lose so much money on this Polly Pocket movie they're doing that I think like that all of this shit's gonna fold either way.
How do you read like Greta Gerwig Barbie and see the success from that, and your next thought is Lena Dunham Polly Pocket?
That sounds so
awful.
rude to Polly Pocket.
Yeah.
Polly Pocket is the bomb. I fucking
Polly
love
Pocket
Polly
deserves
Pockets.
better.
Literally, that's so rude.
There's like
Ew.
like the stuff I was reading that was like on their list. There were things that I was just like, this is literally just another script you had. That like you just threw fucking.
You put the name of a thing on it.
Because there was one. There's like, let me see if I can find the thing I was looking at yesterday. Like the Uno heist movie with Lil Yachty, 100% was just a heist movie that they're just somehow going to incorporate Uno.
Yeah, Uno into.
I don't know what the fuck an A24 type Barney movie is gonna be.
Stupid.
I don't care either.
I only want to see that because the minute you put A24 type, I was like, I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know what Major Matt Mason is as a toy, but Tom Hanks is apparently doing that, and that just sounds like it's probably. I'm just assuming it's like an army movie or like a space, like an astronaut movie. So it's like whatever. The Magic 8 Ball movie, I don't know. They're doing another live action Masters of the Universe, so I'm in.
Major Matt Mason is an astronaut who lived and worked on the moon.
Oh, it's Lightyear.
Yeah, so like yeah.
They're just doing exactly Lightyear.
There is a
Mattel's
with
Man
a toy
in
that no one
Space.
remembers.
There's a gritty
yeah.
J.J. Abrams
Amazing.
Hot Wheels movie. And
which is so funny.
And
it's so funny.
Also a Matchbox car movie in the works.
They should do a Matchbox 20 movie.
Mattel is doing a
I would watch
movie
that shit.
called Christmas Balloon. That is just, I don't know, the balloon is the toy.
Great.
Sure.
A live action Thomas the Tank Engine.
No.
Oh.
Nobody needs that.
Vin Diesel
Horrific.
is apparently doing a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie. So just another fucking but they had those like 3 fucking fighting robot movies.
Perfect.
An American Doll movie. I don't know what Big Jim is, but there's a Big Jim movie. It's just a muscly action figure, so like that could be fucking anything. Jason Bateman's production company is creating a movie based on Chatty Cathy and Betsy Wetsy dolls.
That
Big
is a
Jim.
horrible
I
sentence.
need to know what the MGM Viewmaster movie is going to be.
Same.
You know what? Some of them.
How do you make Viewmaster a movie?
Some of them, I think, have potential to be at least interesting if you have the right person doing it. But some of them are like, why are you now making like Big Jim and whatever that fucking astronaut guy's name was? Those are from like the 60s and the 70s.
It's literally
those people are not gonna go see that movie.
Like
you know?
it's literally like all it's gonna be is they're going to fucking ignore whatever mythos was behind those characters, and it's just hey, we have a script about this astronaut, so we're just gonna like attach this thing to it. The good news is Wishbone is returning.
Yay! I love Wishbone.
And apparently Mattel is also turning
What's the story,
Boglins?
Wishbone?
I don't know what the fuck Boglins is into a Gremlins-like movie.
Boglins?
Boglins? I don't know what these are. Gruesome
Those
toy
are
hand
like
puppets.
those. Yeah, it's like those gross monster guys, and they would come in a box that looked like a cage.
I don't know. That might have been like
They were like.
after.
They kind of look
toys.
like. Okay, what are those things that you like? The mad face.
The
heads?
monster ball things.
Do you know? Yeah, they're kind of
Mad Balls.
Yeah, they're kind of like that, but they're like rubber, I think, and yeah, they have like arms and they're like a little puppet.
Well, bleak time.
People are gonna be stoked about that.
I hope not.
Look,
I did.
If they're gonna do all this and they don't give me a fucking Mighty Max movie,
well,
oh my god,
this is just what's announced. They've said they have 44 projects in the works, and we just went over only like 8.
yeah, we're gonna have to get through the fucking like 18 they've announced though to get to Mighty Max, or else it's gonna get fucking flashed.
You know what was sick is when they did like the Polly Pocket playsets, but it was Mighty Max. Those were so cool.
What a crossover event!
Mattel do
Well,
Lincoln
I mean, they
Logs?
weren't actually Polly Pocket, but they were like little playsets or whatever with Mighty Max, and I loved them. And my mom was like, "You're a girl," and I was like, "Fucking Mighty Max."
Yeah, I don't care. I want the cool saber-tooth tiger head that opens up into an ice cave.
Like literally, so cool. Wow.
Bad times.
Yeah.
I'll
watch the 8-Ball movie.
Not me. I'm gonna watch that Uno fucking heist movie because I have to know what the fuck that's about.
Yeah, I don't know how you make that work, but
it's literally.
I'll watch it if the entire thing's set to Cold Lake, Minnesota. What a bop!
I just imagine like someone's gonna like it's gonna be like a heist movie where it's like someone's going to break into like a safe or whatever, and somebody just hits a reverse and the guys just like walk away.
They're like literally they're like trying to heist the same thing, and they're like playing Uno against each other the whole time.
Like I don't know how that works. Like how do you make Uno a fucking?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, Katie, what'd you watch this week?
Literally nothing. Yes.
Uno.
I just watched Deadpool 1 and 2 for our bonus episode, and that's it.
All right. What about you, Kit?
I really only watched Barbie, which is incredible. A+ film. Recommend it. And then I went and saw
it or not, but
yeah. Y'all heard about
I
this?
hadn't, but thank you.
And then I went and saw Talk to Me this morning.
Boo.
Which was pretty good.
I didn't even know that was a movie that existed until like yesterday when my entire feed exploded with people seeing it.
I've been seeing it's another thing with like Smile where they like inundated with ads, and I have been seeing ads all day every day for it. So I was like, I will not be seeing it.
I have had the middle experience where it's been like marketed like a normal movie to me. I've seen a very normal amount of stuff for it.
I mean, I guess great.
Mine's been like constant.
Like most of the stuff I watch, I don't have ads on, and then like I don't know how like it just seemed like no one on like the podcast Instagram ever mentioned it, and then all of a sudden they were seeing it like this week or whatever, and I was like, I did not know this movie fucking existed, and now everyone has seen it.
I feel like I've been waiting for it forever, because they like showed a trailer for it like 3 months ago, and it's like, oh, I wonder when that's coming out. Oh, forever away still. All right.
Weird. I think the only thing I watched that wasn't just I'm still in the middle of watching the DC animated stuff. I watched Secret Invasion, which I did not find to be as bad as everyone else did, so I thought it was totally fine. Minus, there's like an inexplicable fucking CGI creature fight at the end, because of course. But like, I don't know. I found the like Samuel L. Jackson spy thriller stuff kind of fun.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you think about it when you watch it, because apparently I'm the only person that wasn't like, this is an atrocity. I was like, yeah, this is fine. It's not great, but it's like not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Alright. Katie, what do you want to shout out?
Oh.
Or Kit.
Oh my gosh. No, I have one, actually. Um, the Destil Brewery Dill Pickle Sour Beer, phenomenal. Literally 100 out of 10 stars. I had never had Sucker Punch pickles. I actually didn't know what that was. Well, like I know what it is. I've never had them. So the beer, it's a sour, which is like already sour. Like sour and goza are like the only beer that I like. But I'm like literally obsessed with pickles. If you didn't know, and I try almost anything that's like pickle flavored. But like, there's a difference between something that's like made for people who like pickles and something that's just like a novelty. And so sometimes it's like not pickly enough. This beer is so good. It's like sour, but like not too sour, and then you can taste the pickle brine obviously, but it's not the same as just like drinking pickle brine from a jar, which I also do. It's like mellowed a little bit. It like blew my mind. It's so good.
Their pickles are like a real hit or miss. Like I was really like they're just straight up like, you know, dill pickles are really good. And then they had these ones that were like they're like spicy that I bought, and I swear they either fucked up the labeling on the jar and they were like a sweet pickle, because I was like, this is the least spicy thing I've ever tried.
Were they like spicy bread and butter pickles?
No,
or?
they were supposed to like the fucking thing had like 3 chili peppers on the front and shit, you know? And it was like, it was literally like eating a bread and butter pickle. I was like, there's no spice to this at all.
I'll have to try them because, like, I don't know. I just go with, like, normal Mount Olive pickles, but I love literally all pickles.
Bread butter.
Oh my god, yeah.
Get that shit, throw that shit in the trash.
I don't, like, I'll eat them, but I don't, like, seek them out and buy them. I did have from Aldi these spicy cornichons that were, like, the perfect amount of spice. They were so good. But, yeah, dill pickle, sour beer, 100%. Please, it's so good. Also, you should be drinking a little pickle juice because it helps with your joints. So if you have arthritis or something, it's like very good for you. And then also by the time this comes out, probably I am doing All Ghost again. So I'm drawing and or posting every single day.
All pickle ghosts.
All pickles, all the time. All ghosts.
So wait, what do you think? Maybe this creature in Nightwish was just like a fucked up pickle?
It could be. A long pickle.
Answers a lot of questions for me.
It does, actually. now I get why she was into it. Like, it's like a never, like, you could just keep eating the pickle and it never ends. Never ending pickle. Yeah, so mostly I'm going to be doing All Ghost on Instagram. All social media is terrible and fucked up right now because you can't search hashtags and then newest anymore on Instagram. So,
very good.
I don't really know how that's going to work out, but I'm definitely going to be posting on Instagram and probably still Twitter. But just those 2 things because I can't make that much content for fucking TikTok. Like, it's not going to happen. So, I don't know. You can just see my ghost stuff. It's going to be good. I love it.
Kit, what do you want to shout
out? Man, I had one earlier, like 3 hours ago.
Is it the Chuck Tingle book?
I forgot. No, because I'm only like 40 pages in. I'm gonna wait till I finish that.
Is it horny?
Shout
yet?
It out, but
it
isn't yet.
Boo.
Okay.
It might be. I don't know.
It'd be awesome if like the twist at the end is it just turned in like the last chapter just inexplicably turned into like one of his other books.
So it's.
Sorry, go ahead.
So far, it's a 20-year-old super religious woman who doesn't realize that she's gay yet, and she is definitely going to get there and get sent to a conversion camp. So, I'm very curious where he's going with it.
I totally forget to like check for his books places, but my TBR is still extremely long. But I'm gonna add that one to the queue.
It's good so far. 40 pages in.
My ass is haunted
Hell yeah.
by the gay unicorn colonel. Helicopter man pounds dinosaur billionaire ass. Taken by the gay unicorn biker, maybe. Not pounded by romance. Oh my god.
I love the ones when it's like not pounded by.
Yeah.
Not pounded by romance. Wranglers of America because their new leadership is from the depths of the endless cosmic void. Gay T-Rex law firm, executive boner.
Holy shit.
That one's an all-time favorite for me.
Pounded in the butt by my book, pounded in the butt by my own butt.
There's like the one when he like didn't win some writing award, and it's like not pounded, like not pounding. I forget what it's called, but it's like not being pounded by the award I didn't win or some shit. Like,
yeah.
This one is living inside my own butt for 8 years, starting a business and turning a profit, and then it's like normal. I think I need to read Poke Butt Go, pounded by a mall.
What a king.
Okay, here's Camp Damascus. That's the one kid's talking about, the normal.
Yeah.
Space. Oh my god.
I mean,
Space Raptor butt invasion.
Yeah.
you obviously have to start from
Butt
his first
section.
book and just work your way through all of them to get to this one.
Okay, oppressed in the butt by my inclusive holiday coffee cups.
Yeah. He's
I-
nothing if not topical.
I mean, like, how is he not considered the most prolific American writer? Like, fuck Stephen King, or, like, whoever writes all those shitty fucking airport novels. Chuck Tingle.
James Patterson.
Killing it. Dude releases, like, a book every 3 days.
So
They
do
should
we?
absolutely have a Space Raptor butt invasion at airports.
Also,
I
airport
agree.
kiosks.
like, someone give me $200 million. I'm gonna buy the rights to make some Chuck Tingle movies out of his books.
How are there not, like, slammed in the butt by my handsome laundry detergent pod?
The movie would be incredible.
So I'm looking at his, like, profile on Goodreads or whatever, and it says Chuck Tingle is a mysterious force of energy behind sunglasses and a pink mask. Is his identity, like, not known?
I don't think so.
I'm sure it's something like with some Googling you could probably figure it out, but as far as I know, he's anonymous.
I think it's like one of those
Like-
things like when Drill got like doxxed or whatever,
Doxed,
and everyone was just
we
like,
all just
nope.
agreed, like, yeah,
Like,
we're not-
I
we're
know-
not pretending we didn't see
I
that.
know I've seen that he's done like real interviews, but I don't know if I've ever seen anyone like give a real name behind it or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
So like I'm sure you could figure it out, but I feel like a lot of people just sort of just go with the joke.
Right. I mean, if you're cool, you do. I don't know. I haven't, obviously, have not read any of his books, but I added that one to my
Pokemon one?
book list. I,
Pokebutt.
challenged, yes. Pokebutt Go. I challenged myself to read 20 books this year, and I'm on number 27, so
Damn.
I'm working my way.
I
Yeah.
have read one actual book in I think the last like 5 years.
Perfect.
I read a lot of like
Yeah.
comics and shit, but like I had like sitting
Yeah.
my attention span is so fucking shitty now that like anytime I sit down to read a book, I'll get like 2 chapters in and be like, I gotta stop, and then be like, just never get back to it.
I will say, if you guys are, not like you specifically, but in general, one of the books I read recently was The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer. So if you're like a Twin Peaks fan, this is obviously like a prequel.
What if you've never
And-
seen Twin Peaks?
It won't really make a lot of sense to you.
Well, I mean, from what
To
I
be
understand,
fair.
Twin Peaks won't make a lot of sense either. So
I mean, I feel, even though it's a prequel, you should watch Twin Peaks first because you won't know the reference to like who anybody
I'm gonna
is.
read
you
the
know?
book and then never watch Twin Peaks.
You could. It is extremely, even though I knew what happens to Laura Palmer because obviously I've seen the show, I was like still not prepared. I don't know. It like, I don't read a lot of books that I feel messed up afterwards. Like, that's my goal. Like, I go into a book being like, fuck me up, you know? And like a lot of them don't, but this one was like so sad, and like because you're reading it from the perspective of like her diary, right? And it starts when she's like 12. So you just like see this progression of like what's happening to her, and it's like literally so heartbreaking, but it's so good. So if anyone's wants something for their read list that'll fuck them up, that's a good one.
My shout out, The Loveliest Time by Carly Rae Jepsen. Bangers. Also, I finally got my fucking Black Emmanuel box set from Severin, and it is incredible. It's got a little, not a ViewMaster thing, but it's got one of those little like spinning things where the pictures just like move.
Like a kaleidoscope?
No, like there's a thing, so like she's like holding a camera or something on the cover, and so you can like move a thing. It'll show like different pictures from different movies. It's a very fucking like elaborate box set. Severin, once again, killing it with their box sets.
Nice.
All right, so next week I got two options for you guys.
Oh man.
So, 1980 or 2008. The 1980 movie, The Psychotronic Man. A man discovers that he has psychotronic powers, the ability to will people to die. He begins exercising that power. Or 2008's Trial of the Screaming Forehead.
I'm sorry, the Screaming Forehead?
Yeah, a small town infestation of crawling alien foreheads that begin attaching to people and taking them over collides with a scientist's experiments to extract foreheadazine, and things go horribly, horribly wrong.
I'm
really
pretty torn, to be honest.
I know.
Because foreheadazine sounds amazing, but 2013 was not great for movies. So I'm like, 2008.
So I will say,
still also not.
I will
great,
say, Screaming Forehead has a higher rating, or a higher average rating on Letterboxd with like with only like 100 less views than Psychotronic Man.
Who is there? Anyone interesting in either of them?
I do not recognize anyone's name.
Notable. Okay.
Oh no!
I feel...
Screaming Forehead stars Daniel Roebuck.
Oh hell yeah! All right, done deal.
And Dick Miller. Holy shit!
Forehead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Forehead.
All right, that's on TV.
I was thinking, I was like leaning towards it because even though Nightwish kind of had aliens, but technically sort of didn't, I was like, maybe we just keep the alien thing going.
I've had this Forehead movie in my watch list forever because the poster art for it is incredible, and it just like has just finally came available recently on Tubi.
Tubi, yeah. Wait, can you say the title again?
Trial of the Screaming Forehead.
Trial. Okay.
The poster art, very good.
All right.
I'll save Psychotronic Man for later because I'm very interested in a movie about a barber that gets the power to just will people to die.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I like the word psychotronic, so.
Yeah, that's what that's what fucking got me. I was like, what is this about? And I saw like this bunch of people talking about like how the character in the movie is just a barber who gets telekinetic powers that could just like fucking explode people's heads, I guess. I don't know. I'm in. If not, I'll end up watching that anyway. Yeah, so Trial of Screaming Forehead next week on Tubi. Alright, if you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. Sometime a couple days before this episode comes out, Katie and I recorded an episode on Deadpool 1 and 2. So you can listen to that, and then we'll have like a regular bonus episode soon. We were going to do Twilight, and then all of those movies left all streaming sites.
R.I.P.
So we're working on a different triple feature. That so far we have two very good movies picked. So we'll see if Kip picks
I
a
gotta
good
see what
movie
else is
or
streaming.
picks something dog shit. I hope it's just like completely random movie that like doesn't fit into like the two Katie and I picked.
That might be nice, a reprieve.
It would just be fun. It's so funny because like we didn't plan for it to be like the two we picked, and
themed.
Yeah, and then it would be very funny if it was those two, and then Kit was like, I don't know, Scream 3.
Yeah, right. It's like the one time we don't actually have a theme, and then we'd still pick and theme anyway.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. It's fine.
Um,
I'm looking forward to it for once.
yeah. So, yeah, we'll have that sometime soon. Patreon.com/podcast. You can buy merch at our store Frontier Shop. You can leave us a rating on Spotify and a rating and review on iTunes. Tell us if you've seen this movie and what the fuck it's about.
I will
Tell us
say
if you
we
wrote
talked
this
about
movie.
this. Yeah, at the end of last episode, when you view it on Tubi, it says the director is Wes Craven, which is why I was originally interested in it, but obviously, not. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's very weird. Like, I don't know why it
I don't
is
know.
like that, because like Wes Craven's executive produced a bunch of stuff, but I don't know why it says he's the director of it. It also doesn't even
no idea.
on Letterboxd, he's not listed as part of this movie whatsoever.
Somebody bojangled me.
We all know Wes Craven only has one good movie, and it's The Fireworks Woman, the porno he directed that he also is in.
Wow.
He just has like a cameo in it that like just comes like walking in and like has like a sort of Stan Lee and Mallrats moment where he just like gives some advice to somebody, and it's very fucking weird. You can follow us on Instagram at IOB for Podcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitrification of Blood. Getting an uptick in those hooch pictures this week.
Yeah.
You can follow Katie at Werewolf Face and join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. Not a lot of hooch pictures there.
Surprisingly, no.
It'd be very funny if there was just like some weird
on my
from
private
like
Patreon.
outside the window pictures of hooch. Like, and you can listen to other podcast 8K Movie Club. Yeah, Trial of the Screaming Forehead next week. I am expecting a banger.
I hope so.
Daniel Roebuck has not let me down, except for when he's in a Rob Zombie movie. Actually, I take that back. I feel like there was something I watched recently that he was in that I was like, this is fucking dog shit. Well, no, maybe that was also a Rob Zombie movie. It has to have been The Munsters. Yeah, it was definitely The Munsters. So I take it back. So far, just the Rob Zombie movies. Maybe. I don't remember much about Phantasm Ravager. Have you seen that, Kit?
I think it's the one I haven't seen.
I gave it 1 star, so I'm assuming I did not enjoy it.
Pretty good.
Alright. I hope you Nightwish the band, but why?